then someone saw me. He's like, hey, you're still with textbooks. People are reading PPTs. Is it that you don't have a PPT? Let me give you. People are reading scopes. And I was like, he's like, huh, you're going to fail.
Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Natalie Caitlin and my channel name is TheStylishMed. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new, please do subscribe to my channel and join the family. Today I have a very special guest with me today, my gorgeous friend Pam. Yeah, so Pam has a podcast called Journeying 21. Can you just talk about what it's about?
Okay, so basically with Journeying 21, I'm just documenting my experience as a young medic and just talking about working in the field and how I'm coping and different things doctors go through.
And so both of us studied in China. She did finish a year before me, so she's actually about to be done with her internship now. And so yeah, we just want to talk about all the stereotypes and basically answer questions and go in depth, maybe not in depth, but like just touch on different topics and things that people tend to say about studying China. Studying China about what? About studying in China, particularly studying medicine in China. So a lot of people seem to think that studying medicine in China is the easy way out. Like if you failed in high school, or I don't know, if you maybe you didn't even do like sciences in high school, and then you can just go to China and become a doctor. What do you think about that?
It's actually like hurtful to hear stuff like that, because I know a lot of people, myself included, like end of high school people were really past. It was just because of financial reasons that people started looking at certain countries as opposed to other countries, and some people even got like partial scholarships in the States and stuff, but just the remaining balance was like way too much, so they had to look at something pocket friendly, which was China or some other country. And just hearing stuff like that is like, wow.
I get annoyed, honestly. Like I'm just like, yo, can you stop? Because there's lots of reasons that people go to wherever they go to study. Because number one, for me, I always wanted to go far. Like regardless of what country it is, I just knew I wanted to be far from home. And then my first option would have been to go to Canada. And I'm always saying this, like I love that country. I love Canada. And maybe one day I'll relocate there or whatever. But that's expensive. And also it's 8 years, of which you do the 4 years, then you might not even end up doing the medicine, because it's really competitive, and it's really like, if you're a foreigner, doing medicine there is kind of hard. And it's not even kind of hard, like it's really hard to get in, not even because of grades and stuff, but just because of how the system is set up. So that automatically took Canada out for me, and then so now I have to start looking at what's far, that's affordable, that I can actually manage to, you know, get in. And so it's not about grades. I mean, obviously, yeah, there's people that go there because of the grades and everything, but that's not the only, and it's not everyone.
That's what I also don't get is that, fine, you have WHO accredited schools, and then you have schools that are not even recognized. So like someone can go to that school that's not even recognized, and anywhere in the world, from completing there, it would be difficult for them to get a job. Now you're comparing them with people who actually went to accredited schools, people who actually went through a proper medical system, struggled, toughened it up, and now have graduated. Now you're just labeling everyone together. It's hurtful, actually.
Yeah. People tend to say that people that studied in China are bad doctors or become bad doctors or are not good doctors. How does that make you feel? And also, did you experience that, and how did you overcome it? Or
first of all, I don't like being grouped. I like being looked at as an individual. So it's kind of annoying, because
kind of
it's annoying. Like you get people from okay, fine, you look at the media, we have schools like Harvard, whatever. Just from the media, we already know that these schools produce like excellent students and whatnot. And then you look at China, people don't know too much about China except like the stereotype that Chinese people are smart. But going to China to study, people actually don't know much about what they produce, right? So then you get people who have come from China, they're working back home, and they came before you, and maybe their ethics were not good, maybe they didn't put in work when they were in China, they were just getting by with like the bare minimum, doing the least to just get by and enter the system. So when you have people like that who have already like infiltrated the system, people looking at them, they already have this presumption that, you know, Chinese trained doctors, they are ABC. So like you get labeled. Sometimes like when you walk in, you introduce yourself and you're like, oh, where did you school? So just from answering that question, they've already labeled you as to whether they think they're gonna give you attention or take you seriously in the workplace. So you're constantly fighting to be looked at as different. And what kind of pisses me off is like when you do good, it's not like, you know, Chinese students, they're not all bad. It's like, oh no, this one is good. But when one person does bad, it's like, oh when it's a negative thing, they group, but when it's a positive thing, then now you're an individual. So
that really bothers me, to be honest. Like, listen, I didn't go and do 6 years studying by myself for you to come and group me with people that I don't even know and don't even know what they've been doing. Like, it really annoys me. And I remember when I started my final year rotations, and every department you go to, people ask, oh, so where are you studying? You say China. The moment you say China, it's like people kind of like making faces, or someone is really telling you, also you need to work extra hard, or blah blah blah. But you don't even know me, you haven't even seen me like at work, you don't even know what I'm capable of. And it's like we always have to work harder to prove ourselves, and that's unfair. But I guess it is what it is, and as long as there's people that are going out there and fooling around, it's always gonna be like that. Okay, so PPT doctors, you know how in China, like a lot of people tend to just read PPT for exam, cram for the exam, pass, and then after that it's done. Like they don't do that again. So how do you feel? Were you a PPT?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Because I just felt like the PPT was too summarized, and when I'm studying, I tend to want to go in depth and just explore the topic before actually coming back to what the Laoshi might have said and then looking at the points from the PPT. But like you do get people like that, because I think my first year, anatomy, I was like going through textbooks and studying for the exam, and someone saw me, he's like, hey, there's still a textbook. People are reading PPTs. Is it that you don't have a PPT? Let me give you. People are reading scopes. And I was like, he's like, huh, you're going to fail. And I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. There are scopes now. People are just on PPTs. And the thing is, even if I would go to the PPT, it was just never sufficient. I'd always have to do like, sometimes I'd even watch a lecture on YouTube based on that topic, like a lecture from another university or whatever, and then read textbooks, research before I actually go to that topic. Because I'm just like, fine, the Laoshi gave us this, but it's just not sufficient.
It's like that,
And they also expect you to go the extra mile, not just to read what they told you in class and then expect to pass off that. So
like, okay, wait, so are you saying even like during exam season you relied on your books rather than
I'd have to study a topic thoroughly before I can go to PPT, even when I'm like so behind. And sometimes I used to be like, why can't I just keep this habit? But like I'd go to the PPT and I'll just be like, no, it's not sticking. Like I need to actually thoroughly understand this topic before I can go through the points that the Laoshi is talking about.
For me, now I don't want to lie, like I remember in like first year, okay, for me, number one, because I went to China really late. When I went, the exam timetable was already out and it was catch up, like do or die. So I got all the PPTs and I was there cramming, trying to catch up with what we were doing. And like, this is me arriving, and next week exams are starting. I don't have time to be going through books and stuff. I was just trying to do like the bare minimum so I could pass, and then the next semester we'll see how things go. And then, so even me, like, I felt like the PPTs, maybe, okay, I can't say like all the lashes and all the subjects were like that. Some were, you know, okay, but I feel like in general, when a lashy comes to your class and he's teaching with his PPT, it's not like all you should rely on.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
Still need to go and do your own studying first, and before and after the class, so that you know what's going on, so that you have that in-depth knowledge, and then he just, you know, emphasizes the main points and all that. And then for exams, what I used to do, like, from the very first day of the semester, I already have my books. I'm already, you know, reading from the books. And then by the time exams come, I know what's going on in that subject, and I can now actually start like reading the PPTs just to see, okay, what I read and what's going on there. Is it, you know, is it the same thing? What are the main points that the Lashi brought up that I need to remember for exams and all that? Not to say that my PPT is like my Bible. It's like what I'm relying on. That, guys, if you do that, that is recipe for disaster. Your PPT is not going to get you anywhere. Like, it's going to probably get you to pass your exams, but that's it. After that, you don't know anything, and when you leave China, you are screwed. So there's that. And then this just made me remember, did you guys used to get like reviews, like what, did you guys have those teachers that used to give you guys reviews?
The teachers wouldn't give us, but I don't know who exactly started it, but it was passed down from like seniors. So like there's a whole bulk.
And before, like, it was always like before the exam, people were like trying to get reviews and try to see what's going on. And even that, I felt like that was not, and because some people just never used to read, they would just rely on those reviews on the seniors, and if those questions don't come, God knows what they're going to write in the exam. But I used to save those literally as like a revision type of thing after I'm done studying, and I'd be like, okay, I know what's going on, and then I do those questions and stuff. How to get noticed by your Lashi, like in terms of like academically speaking, and also just in general, how to get noticed by your Lashi?
I feel like for me, whenever I put in work, I'm noticed. So like if you're doing, let's say it's pathophysiology or whatever, and the Lashi's talking about something, and you ask a question showing that you've been reading ahead or along the lines that you're actually following, and you want to know in this type of situation what happens, they take interest that, okay, this person is actually focused, they're not on their phone, they're actually interested in what's going on. That's a good question, and then back and forth just like that.
I was that person that used to either sit in the back or I'm sitting right in front. Like there was no middle in between. I was either in the back doing God knows what I was doing in the back there, or sitting in front paying attention. And so, but even when I was in the back sometimes, maybe I'm just like, maybe it was one of those lectures where I feel like this man is not doing anything for me, and I'm actually reading by myself, so I don't want him to be coming there in the front and disturbing me. So there was that. And then obviously if you're at the back just on your book the whole time, the Lash is going to be like, you're in the back, what's going on? And then when you see that you're actually reading and you actually know what's going on in the class, you've got the attention. But then also when you answer questions, when you come with questions, and not just like stupid, because some people tend to ask questions just for the sake of asking questions and wasting time in class, but they're not really asking serious things. But if you ask like, you know, educated questions that show that you've actually tried to understand something, and then maybe you're just lacking here and there, or you actually want more information on that subject matter, then yeah, they definitely will have your attention, or rather you will have the attention.
And it comes with like perks when they see that you're engaged and stuff. There was one Lashi, he was a professor in genetics, so then he called us over to his lab and stuff, and he's like, I'm working on this project, do you want to have a look and stuff like that. So like when they actually feel that you're interested, they take notice and they want to include you in things and projects that they're doing and
that's
stuff
so
like
true, because I remember me and a few of my classmates, my friends, we always ended up like doing rotations in the hospital with some of our teachers, because they noticed that, you know, we're interested, and they're like, do you want to come during the holidays, during the weekend? If I have a surgery, I'll call you. Like I remember one of the gynae teachers actually took my number and my WeChat, and she was like, okay, whenever I have an interesting case or an interesting surgery, I'll call you and you can come. And you know, that's really nice to have, because sometimes you're in the hospital with the whole class, but it's not like your designated hospital times or when there's going to be interesting things happening. Sometimes it's not even surgeries scheduled at the time that you're in the hospital. So it's always nice to have, you know, that.
And even if there is something interesting happening, like you're like 13 people
exactly.
also there, so
13
everyone,
is even few. There's like 30 of you there.
So like everyone wants to go.
Exactly. So a lot of people tend to go to China or even wherever they've gone, right? And then they're done, and then they come back and start saying or advising people, oh no, don't go to China because it's going to be bad, or you're not going to learn anything, or the teachers don't teach, or you know, things like that. And then they tend to blame like the institution or China in general for their situation.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
I just feel like sometimes you just have to own up, because we all have a part to play. It's your education after all, so you have a part to play in it. And you coming to China and saying that, oh, it's because of the Laoshi or the school was set up this way and that's why I didn't get the most out of it. You did a whole like 6-year course. From the first year, I feel like if you saw that, you know what, I'm not able to adjust to what is going on here, then I feel like you could either have changed schools to another school in China which is more like conducive for you, or you could have left altogether to another school. But the fact that you stayed, you have to put in the work. You can't always be blaming other people. And I feel like there was a time where we had this misconception, like sometimes you have Laoshis that come and read like PPTs and stuff like that, so you're like, oh, these guys, they're not teaching, they're just reading slides. But there was a conference I actually attended where one of the lecturers, he was a professor in Canada, and this guy was like reading slides. And then there was a time I was on Instagram, and then UCT Just Kidding page, I saw like some people posting that these ones we just come and read. So like it's not just China, they're like
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere, and there are just some lecturers who come and just read off it, and there are those who actually engage with you in class, and there are those who actually wanna like properly teach. So like you can't just blame it on people like that. And furthermore, it's a tertiary institution. They're not gonna spoon feed you. You're no longer in high school. So like even when they give you knowledge of the PPT, it's for you to go the extra mile. Like, okay, they raised this point in class, let me look up further what more can be said about this point in relation to this topic. But if you just, woe is me, I went to China. No, I feel like sometimes like cause like the first year I was struggling with the language barrier. I studied in English, but they had an accent, and I grew up in like a multicultural background, so I was used to people with different accents, but for some reason it was just so thick. So for me, like I struggled, and I had a classmate who she was just grasping everything. And like if I had the mindset that, oh, I came to China and now the accent, I'm not able to understand what they're saying, and someone's here grasping it,
and then it's not about
it's not about that. Like I also have to find a way to grasp it, of which like if you're keen enough, I eventually did. But if you just shut down from that moment and say, you know what, because of this circumstance I'm screwed, then if you go through life like that, that's gonna be your story.
And this thing where people come to uni in China, especially expecting to be spoon, but like I don't get it, because what you said reminded me of when we were doing our rotations in the hospital. There were 2 students from Cambridge University that came and joined us. So we did like a total of, I think it was 8 weeks that we did together. And the things that we used to complain about was the same thing that they used to complain about. And they made it, like, from what they were saying, was even worse than us, because from what they were saying, it was like they don't get taught like the way we expect to be taught as well. They have to do their own learning. They sometimes have to teach each other. They also have teachers coming and just reading PPTs and going. Sometimes they don't even show up. They just send the PPT in a group chat or whatever, and you know, that's what's going on for them. So it's not like, you know, oh no, in China it's only like this here. I don't know like what people come expecting. Like I don't know if you want someone to literally open your brain and like put all the information there for you, and you don't have to read anything, and you just understand and you go. But university is about you doing the work, and then the teachers just shape what you have and guide you along, you know, your learning. It's not them coming and literally instructing you and teaching everything like you're a primary school child, guys. That is not university. That is not university. So you have to put in the work, and because you're in a foreign, you know, in a place where the language you're used to back home and the language there is like different, I guess, or I don't know, different accents, and you struggle to understand it, that means you have to put even more work. But that's not for you to go and start complaining, oh no, I came here and they're not teaching me, so then you're gonna sit. And even if they weren't teaching you, I feel like if you're not doing something about it, then that's on you, because you know what you're lacking, you know what you're missing, and so you're gonna decide to sit on that and complain for the rest of your life. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, when you're done and you have your degree and all that, it's you and your patient. It's not you, China, and the patient. It's you, doctor, whoever you are, and your patient. And you're the one who doesn't know how to treat your patient. No one is going to say, oh, shame, you studied in China. Okay, fine, we feel sorry for you. No, they're going to be like, you didn't study, you didn't learn, you didn't put in the work.
And the sad thing is that you might be saying that, and even though like some people have given medical products from China like a bad rep, someone will come who's actually good, and they're gonna look at you and look at them and be like, oh, what's the difference?
That happens all the time.
What is the difference here? Why does this one know? Why don't you know? You are in the same grade.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that a lot, especially with our internship. There's people that are playing around and not knowing what's going on, and then there's people that are actually, you know, catching up. You know, we might all come not having skills or not having, you know, certain I don't know, like, what can I say? Like, we don't have the same abilities, right? But people get taught, and then others learn, and then they get to the standard that's required of them. And then others just continue to not. So now, are you still blaming China, or
exactly?
Who are you blaming now? And at some point, you have to look at yourself and see, okay, if I've really truly put in the work and I'm still lacking, then what's the real problem here?
You have to own up at some point.
The last thing, would you recommend someone study in China?
So studying in China, I'd tell you to really do your research on schools. Do your research on schools, and just not on the web, because sometimes schools portray things which aren't actually what's on the ground. So actually knowing someone who's been to that school, contacting alumni or whatever, and trying to get to know what exactly is the situation on the ground, right? So yeah, I feel like I wouldn't rule China out, just like I wouldn't rule any other country out. Like, every university should be looked at as an individual, and
No, I definitely agree, like, especially about doing your research, because there's a lot, especially if you want to study medicine, guys. There's hundreds of universities and hundreds of little institutions and colleges that will tell you, yes, we teach medicine, but you'll find that of those hundreds, very, very few are actually properly accredited and recognized by both the Ministry of Education in China, the government in China, and outside institutions, and, you know, the World Health Organization. So you really have to do your research, and I feel like you guys should stop this thing where you just ask someone, oh, can you recommend me universities, and then you tell me 3 universities, and then those are the 3 that I look into, and then I go. Because you don't know where I'm getting those 3 names from. And this is one thing that I always avoid doing. A lot of you guys ask me, what university did I go to? Can you tell me which university I should go to? How should I choose a university? Okay, I always reply how you should choose university. I tell you guys what things you should look at. But if you ask me a specific question, like, which university should I go to? What university did I go to? Name your top 3 universities. Like, I'll never do that. I'll never reply to you, because I am not going to be responsible for you going to university and then realizing that it's not for you, or something goes wrong there, and then now it's on me. You have to do your own research. You have to decide university based on its proper, like, you know, accreditations and all that, and also what's best for you. Maybe you want to go somewhere because of location, and, you know, maybe what they eat in that province. I don't know, and the kind of people that they have there, the climate, you know, things like that. For example, I was in a very small city. Others went to cities where there's the beach. After class, they could go to the beach and chill, you know, things like that. So you can't put that on another person. Don't shift the responsibility of choosing where you're going to spend the next 6 years of your life on another person that you don't even know. So really do your research, and really, you know, think about all the other things, not just like the quality of teaching, but other things that people don't even tend to look at when it comes to universities, like the shops around and all those things. Because as much as you're doing medicine, you're also a person, you're also living in that place. You're gonna need something to distract you, something to keep you entertained, something to, you know, look forward to when medicine is not going well, or when you're tired, or when you're not doing medicine on holiday, for example. So there's that. But I definitely would recommend people to study in China, as long as they do their research and choose a good university, and as long as when they get to that university they work hard and not just sit waiting to be spoon-fed.
I feel like putting in the work is like the most essential thing, because if you go whatever university, even if you get in States, Canada, UK, whatever, you still have to put in the work. People are not gonna spoon feed you. And like, if you just expect that, yeah, I'm in a good school, so that automatically means that I'm gonna do well, I'm gonna be one of these world-renowned doctors or whatever, you're fooling yourself. You always have to put in the work. And you know what irks me is that sometimes people feel like if they go to China, it means that they can only go so far as a doctor. But then you see that other doctors that came before their time, they did their MBBS, their basic 6 years in China, and then later on they're doing residency in the States, or they're now in UK, somewhere in Australia. So what makes you different from them? They're putting in the work. Like, you're not disadvantaged because you went to a pocket-friendly school. Put in the work. It's the same knowledge they're passing down. Why do you feel that you're disadvantaged, or you can only go so far because you went to China? It's a wrong narrative that has to change.
I couldn't have said that better. Like, you're not gonna wake up one day as a good doctor because you were spoon-fed and you had the best teachers. You're gonna wake up as a good doctor because you put in the work and you made an effort to get yourself to that point. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Is there anything else you wanna add and, you know, touch on about being in China, studying in China, or anything?
No, it's pretty much that. Put in the work and you'll be smiling at the end of the 6 years. If you don't, then another story.
You'll be crying at the end of your 6 years. Yeah, okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight and, you know, some maybe motivation if you're feeling down about, you know, where you are, how you're doing, and all that. And you guys, I am not a podcast person, but I really love her podcast. So if I, who's not a podcast person, is telling you to go and listen to her podcast, then you guys should go and listen to her podcast. I will leave everything on the screen and in the description below. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for coming. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or you just want to add on to something that we already said. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Check her podcast out, and we will see you in another video. Bye.
Bye.